Barbara Mills stood before her safety deposit box, a small gold case held gently in her hands. She ran her fingertips across the initials engraved on the face, S.L.M. What was it about this tarnished antique, no bigger than a pocket watch? A gentle press on the catch and the top sprung open to reveal a flat, heart-shaped perfume bottle with a glass stopper. Holding it, Barbara felt overcome by a feeling she couldn't understand. Both great happiness and great sadness at the same time. Joy and sorrow. The gold case and its hidden bottle had been a nice surprise when Barbara first discovered it on the everything 50 cents table at the antique store near her home in Johnson City, Tennessee. It didn't appear terribly valuable, but she felt drawn to it, powerfully so, as if the gold case might hold a secret bigger than a hint of perfume. S.L.M. They were the same initials as Barbara's little daughter, Susan, 3 years old. Susan was too young for perfume, but one day, when she was ready, Barbara decided she would give it to her. For now, the safety deposit box would keep it safe. Barbara turned the key and tucked the box away. Her 16th birthday, she thought. That's when I'll give it to her. Barbara didn't think about the perfume case again until 2 years later. She volunteered one weekend to model for a friend's fashion show at a dress shop in town. The shop was crowded. Barbara moved to make room for a woman putting on lipsticks at the mirror. Her gaze fell on the initials on the woman's purse, S.L.M. "Those are my daughter's initials too," Barbara said. The women talked, and Barbara mentioned the perfume case. "I'm saving it for her when she's older." The woman's eyes went wide. "Is it a gold case?" she asked. "With a heart-shaped bottle inside?" Barbara felt an echo of that strange feeling again, sorrow and joy. "How did you know?" she said. "It was mine once." The woman's voice warmed at the memory. "A gift from my father. Seeing my initials engraved made me feel so loved. I lost it in an estate sale after my parents' death. I hated to think of it out there in the world, unloved by anyone." The joy faded from the woman's face. Happy and sad, thought Barbara. "Oh, you must take it back," Barbara said. "It belongs with you." "Well, what's your little girl like?" the woman asked. "Well, my Susan is wonderful," Barbara said. She couldn't help herself from grinning as she thought of her red-headed daughter with her big brown eyes and unforgettable smile. She just started kindergarten. She loves horses, bike riding, her friends at school, and her big brother Brad most of all. Last night I sent him to his room for playing ball in the house. Susan slipped him notes under the door all night long so he wouldn't feel bad. The joy on the woman's face returned. "Your little S.L.M. can keep the case," the woman said. "It couldn't have a better home than with a little girl like that." Barbara was so moved by the encounter that the next day she took Susan to the safety deposit box to show her the case and tell her the story behind it. "When I'm old enough, I'll love it just as much as that lady did," Susan vowed. She pulled out the glass stopper and pretended to dab perfume behind her ears. Barbara could almost see the woman Susan would grow up to become. Same thoughtful brown eyes, same radiant smile, ready to take on the world. The case couldn't have a better home. "For your sweet 16, it will be yours," she promised. And once again, Barbara locked the case away for safekeeping. There it waited, while Susan grew older. At 10 years old, she was a vivacious 5th grader, so her mother was concerned one evening when Susan said she was too tired to do her homework. She realized Susan had been feeling tired a lot lately, and often had headaches. Barbara took her to the doctor, who performed a number of tests. Probably growing pains, Barbara thought, or too many activities. But when she returned to discuss Susan's test results, the doctor was grave. "Mrs. Mills," he said, "we believe that your daughter has a brain tumor." Susan faced new rounds of tests and then a risky surgery. The findings weren't good. "The tumor is both malignant and inoperable," the doctor explained. "I'm very, very sorry. I'm afraid we can't do much for her." Barbara's world seemed to crumble around her. She will never be 16, she thought, her heart breaking. But Susan was brave. Barbara marveled at how a girl so young could go on with such devastating news. One day, Barbara took Susan down to the bank. "You've grown up so much," she said to her daughter as she unlocked the safety deposit box. I think you're ready now." Susan squeezed the case with excitement. "Can I pick out my own perfume to go inside?" "Any scent you want," Barbara said. Susan showed the prized possession first to her brother, Brad, then to everyone. "When Mom saw my initials on it, she knew I was meant to have it," she told her friends. The doctors and nurses at her treatment sessions admired her spirit and fell in love with her. Everyone loved the little girl with the big, brave heart. Susan died at age 13. Barbara felt almost as if she had died with her daughter. Susan had loved her little antique case until the end, often holding it during treatments. Yet now the case was only a reminder of sorrow. Still, Barbara couldn't bear to part with it. No, not yet. She returned the case to the bank, touching the initials S.L.M. one last time before closing the safety deposit box, again flooded with that dual emotion, great happiness and great sadness. "I'm done with the happiness," she told herself. "Now I am meant to feel the sadness." The family went on with their lives as best they could. Susan's big brother, Brad, grew into a man his sister would have been proud of. He graduated from college and became a pharmacist. He dated a number of girls over the years without getting serious. Then one day he told Barbara that he wanted her to meet someone special, a girl named Sarah. Sarah was everything Barbara had hoped for her son, strong, good-hearted, and loving. Barbara was thrilled when Brad confided he was going to propose, and ecstatic when Sarah said yes. One evening, Brad called and described the wedding invitations that he and Sarah had ordered. Barbara doodled on a notepad as Brad read off the invitation to her. "To the wedding of Bradley Mills and Sarah Wesley Lincoln." Barbara jotted down the names, imagining how the invitations would look. Sarah Lincoln, Sarah Mills, Sarah Lincoln Mills, she cried. "That will be Sarah's name." "Well, of course," said Brad, puzzled. The night before her wedding, Sarah Lincoln received a gift from Barbara, something to show her that she was much more than a daughter-in-law. She was a daughter. The perfume case with the heart-shaped bottle. "It's an antique," Sarah said, turning it over in her hands. "But with my initials. Did you have it engraved?" Then Barbara told Sarah the story, and her heart filled with a now familiar emotion. Great happiness and great sadness mixed together as one. The feeling that she had had when she first held the antique gold case in her hands. The assurance that in our joys we are uplifted, and in our sorrows we are comforted, and that always we are held in the most loving hands of all.